This is part 3 of my mom putting me in foster care at 14 and undoing my 12-year adoption. So we last left off with my caseworker and I pulling up to my house to gather my belongings because he had just told me that my mom spent the day and the week I was at summer camp putting me back in foster care. And in the car ride over, I was of the mindset that I was going to be able to talk to my mom and get her to change her mind because there was no way she was going to do this to me. However, when I walked in the door of the house, it was very apparent to me that that was not true because I opened the door and I literally tripped over the black trash bags of my stuff waiting for me by the door. After the cops had arrested me, put me in the car, and taken me to the family services building and my mom had gotten home, she had my siblings go up to my room and take black trash bags and throw all of my belongings in them so that I couldn't even go into my own room to get my stuff. It was already waiting for me by the door. First thing I did is I start digging through all the black trash bags to make sure that all of my stuff was in there and nothing was getting left behind. I could not find my favorite stuffed animal that I had had since I was a very young child. His name was Smokey. He was like this gray rabbit. He was missing an eye, but he was my favorite thing in the entire world. Then after that, I run up the stairs to see if I can find him because I'm not leaving him behind, and he was nowhere to be found. He was not on my bed where I left him, and he was nowhere in my room. And my brother comes up the stairs into my room, and he said that mom wanted me to come downstairs because she said I have no right to be running around her house when all of my things were waiting by the door for me already. Which, okay, girl, I grew up in this room, but that's fine. So then came the point where I was like, okay, I have to fix this. I have to convince her not to do this. And I run downstairs and go into the living room where she's sitting in the same armchair she always sat in. I start begging and pleading with her not to do this. I'm like, Mom, why are you doing this? Tell me what's going on. Please don't do this. And she looked at me and all she said was, Amber, just go. No explanations, no I love yous, just Amber, go. And I remember in that moment is when it like truly set in for me and the tears just poured out. I said, fine. And I turned, and I remember when I walked away, I like punched the wall because I was freaking pissed. Like, it didn't put a hole in the wall or anything, but I did hit the wall. Start loading my things up in my caseworker's car, and I remember that my brother came out of the house and he said, Amber, Mom wanted me to come tell you that she loves you. And looking back, I think my brother was just trying to protect me and make me feel better. I don't think that my mom actually told him to say that. I think he just knew that it was something that I needed to hear in that moment. And I'm so grateful to him for that. I would eventually see him again a few years down the road, and I can tell that story later, but yeah, as a kid, I truly believe she did have him say that, but as an adult, I know now that, like, she probably didn't, and he was just trying to take care of me. And this was around the time when it was starting to get more popular for teenagers to have cell phones, but I was not one of those teenagers, so I couldn't just text my friends and be like, oh my god, my mom just did this, I won't be at school when school starts next month. I didn't get to say goodbye to any of my friends. I didn't get to offer them any explanations. I just disappeared. It was like a ghost. It was like I never existed in that town at all. That first night, I stayed with a foster family in the local community, and then after that, I was taken to a group home a couple of hours away where I lived for a couple months before I would go to my first foster home. But that mom of that first foster home where I was for 9 months was extremely emotionally and verbally abusive. But if I hadn't stayed with her, I wouldn't have met the family who ended up adopting me when I was 16. And I'd love to tell you that story if you want to hear it. In an instant, I was ripped from the only life I'd ever known. Like, I just disappeared into thin air. Nobody came looking for me. After I got out of the group home, I was able to connect with a few of my friends on MySpace and kind of tell them what happened. I didn't have any pictures or any memorabilia from that time of my life. When I tell you, it was like it was completely erased. It was completely erased. So yeah, I re-entered foster care, lived in 3 homes in that first year, and then by the end of that first year, I ended up with the family that would adopt me when I was 16, and I'm still with them today. They are incredible people, and I love them so much. I'm so grateful for them. And I'm grateful to have had that experience because it made me who I am now, and it got me where I am now. And I'm going to tell you about who I am now and where I am now, and also answer some common questions like why my mom did it and what I was like when I was 14 before she did what she did in part 4. So go check it out.